Okay, so we're going to go over the inequality test study guide. The first question says, which of the following solution sets represent that the inequality 10 plus 1 half x is greater than or equal to 3? First of all, I need to look at my coefficient that is with my variable. My coefficient is positive, which it is. That means my inequality is going to stay the same. It's not going to flip. Okay, so I'm going to take this whole coefficient and the sign in front of it, and I'm going to move it to the front. So I got 1 half x plus 10 is greater than or equal to 3. Okay, so I have a positive coefficient, so my inequality is going to stay the same. So I'm looking for something that's greater than or equal to. All of these are equal to because they all have closed-in circles, but A and C are the only ones that are greater than. They go to the right. B and D both go to the left, so they're less than. So I know I can get rid of B and D. They're not going to be my answer. So now I just need to solve this inequality to see which one my answer is. So I'm adding 10 in my problem, so I'm going to subtract 10 from both sides. That leaves me with 1 half x is greater than or equal to negative 7. 3 minus 10 is negative 7. But then I'm going to divide each side by 1 half, or since I can't divide by 1 half, I'm going to multiply by its reciprocal, which is 2 over 1. I'm going to multiply both sides by 2 over 1. This side cancels, left with x is greater than or equal to, okay, so then I need to make negative 7 into a fraction. Put it over 1. Negative 7 times 2 is negative 14 over 1, which is negative 14. So x is greater than or equal to negative 14. Okay, so then I look at my number lines. I have the closed circle. It's on negative 14. It's going to the right, so A is my correct answer. This has a closed circle, but it's on negative 3.5. My answer was negative 14, so that's why A is correct and C is not. So let's look at your next problem. On these next three, you'll have to solve and graph the inequalities. So the first one is 12w, 12 times w minus 3 is greater than 60. So I have parentheses here, so I can't solve it yet. I have to get rid of those parentheses. So I'm going to do that by circling the 12 and distributing it to every term inside of my parentheses. So 12 times w is 12w. Then 12 times negative 3 is negative 36. And that's greater than 60. Okay, so now I don't have any parentheses now. I can solve it like a regular inequality. Okay, so then I'm subtracting in my problem, so I'm going to add 36 to both sides. This side cancels, I get 12w is greater than, then 60 plus 36 gives me 96. So I'm going to divide both sides by 12. I'm dividing by positive numbers, so my inequality does not flip, it stays the same. And then 96 divided by 12 is 8. So w is greater than 8. So I need to graph that on a number line. So if I'm looking for numbers that are greater than 8, I want 8 to be on the left side of my number line, and then most of my other numbers to the right, because those are going to be my answers. Now, since this is a regular problem, all numbers can be included. So I have a regular greater than symbol, so I'm going to do an open circle on 8, and then my arrow is going to extend to the right. So any number greater than 8 is a solution to my problem. Okay, for the next one, I've got negative 5x plus 15 is greater than negative 30. Now, this one has a negative coefficient. I got a negative 5 here. So my inequality sign here is going to flip at the end. So I already know that, so I'm going to pay attention to that as I get to the end. So I don't have any parentheses, so I can go ahead and solve it. So put your line down the middle. I'm adding 15 to the problem, so I need to subtract 15 from both sides. So that cancels. I get negative 5x is greater than, then negative 30 minus 15. We keep change. Negative 30 Subtraction becomes addition, and positive 15 becomes negative 15. So that gives me negative 30 plus negative 15, which is negative 45. Okay, then I got to get rid of my coefficient there. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 5. Keep up with that sign. Those cancel, and I get x, and I've divided by negative, so my inequality is going to flip. So now it's less than negative 45 divided by negative 5 is positive 9. So again, I'm going to graph this one on the number line. You have to graph all three of these. So I'm looking for a number that is less than 9. So those are the numbers going to be to the left of 9. So I'm going to put 9 down here on the right side of my number. Okay, now it's a regular inequality, so I'm going to have an open circle on 9, and an arrow is going to go to the left. So all of these numbers that are less than 9 are part of my solution. And then I have my last of these problems here. Okay, again, I have a negative coefficient. So my inequality symbol is going to flip. Always look for that in the beginning. I don't have any parentheses, so I can go ahead and start solving it. Subtracting 3 of my problem, so I need to add 3 to both sides. I get negative 7x is less than negative 45 plus 3, different signs, subtract. It's me 42, and take the sign of the biggest number. So that would be negative 42. And then I'm going to divide both sides by negative 7. Since I divided by a negative number, my sign is going to flip, so it becomes greater than, and then negative 42 divided by negative 7 gives me positive 6. I'm going to graph that. So I'm looking for x is greater than 6, so I want 6 to be on the left side. Okay, and you just need a couple numbers on each side of your answer. So x is greater than 6. It's a regular inequality, so I'm going to put an open circle and an arrow going to the right since it is greater than. It's on the back side of that page. I have a word problem that says Liam wants to treat some friends to lunch. He has $50 and knows that lunch will cost about $8 per person, represented by P. So how many people can Liam buy lunch for? Now, always look at your question in a word problem. What are you looking for? We're trying to find how many people. Well, it told us that people would be represented by P. Okay, so that's going to be our variable for our problem. Now, what do we know about those people? We know that the lunch is going to cost $8 per person. So 8 is going to go with our variable. So we get 8p. Okay. So then it says that he has $50, okay, and knows that lunch will cost about $8 per person. So $50, that is his maximum. That's the most he can spend. So if he's paying $8 per person, then that has to be less than or equal to $50. Okay, and if you look at maximum on your inequality phrases sheet, it will be under less than or equal to. Now this is a one-step inequality, so I solve it just like a one-step equation. Draw my line down the middle, and I'm going to divide both sides by 8. And I'm going to get P is less than or equal to. Now I have to do 50 divided by 8. And if you may have already noticed, 8 will not go into 50 even, okay, but it will go in there 6 times. So that gives me 48. I'm left with 2. And then I'm going to bring my decimal up and 0 down. Forget about your decimal there, okay? 8 goes into 22 times, or 16. And I'm left with 4, another 0. And then 8 goes into 40. 8 goes into 45 times. 5 times 8 is 40. So then I'm done. Now, I can't have 6 and 2,500 people. Okay, that doesn't work. That doesn't exist. So in this case, He can't afford 7 people because that would be too many, so I have to round down. So he can only afford to buy 6 people lunch. So my inequality is P is less than or equal to 6 people. Again, make sure your answer makes sense with your problem. Okay, here we're talking about people who have to have a whole number. Okay, part B says draw a number line and graph the solution set. Explain what the solution means. Okay, so let's draw a number line. Now it's going to be less than or equal to 6, so I'm going to put 6 down here on the right side so that my numbers will be off to the left of that. There's a much smaller. Okay, so I get a closed circle because it's less than or equal to. So I'm going to close circle on 6. Now since I'm talking about people, I can only have whole amounts of people. Okay, so then I put a closed circle on 5, and a closed circle on 4, 3, and on 2, and on 1. I can have no people that he buys lunch for, and I cannot have a negative 1 person. Okay, that doesn't make sense either. So only whole numbers and only positive whole numbers and 0 will work in this case. Okay, and then we're going to explain what the solution means. So the solution means that Liam can only buy lunch for 6 or less people. Okay, he can buy it for 6 people, or 5, or 4, or 3, or 2, or 1, or he can buy nobody lunch. Okay, and those are his only possibilities. Okay, so on the last page, you have another word problem. Okay, and this one's going to be just a little bit different than ones we've seen, but not too much. So Scopo is buying replacement basketballs for a community sports league. There are currently 42 basketballs available. Gopal knows that each team will want at least 5 basketballs. Okay, so I see the word at least. Okay, that means greater than or equal to. If I look at my inequality phrases sheet, at least is under greater than or equal to. Okay, he wants at least 5 basketballs. So now I'm talking about basketballs here in this problem. Okay, right now he has 42 basketballs at the moment. Okay, so part A says write an inequality to show how many basketballs represented by B Gopal will need to purchase for T amount of teams. Okay, so this time we're going to have 2 variables in our inequality. All right, so we're looking for the amount of basketballs. It says how many basketballs. Well, we don't know how many basketballs, so it tells us to use B. So we're going to write a variable B. Okay, now we do know that they want at least 5 basketballs per team. Okay, because it says each team. So the amount of basketballs has to be greater than or equal to, I got this from at least, 5 basketballs per team, okay? And T represents team. Okay, now he already has 42 available already, so I can't count those 42, so I'm going to subtract those 42 away. So there's my inequality. Now this inequality doesn't have an answer, so there's nothing for me to solve. Part B says there are 10 teams in the league. Solve your inequality to determine how many basketballs Opal should purchase. Okay? Alright, so I have 10 teams, so I'm going to replace the T in my inequality with 10. So I've got that B is greater than or equal to 5 times 10 minus 52. So B is greater than 5 times 10 is 50, and then minus 42. 50 minus 42 is 8. Okay, so B is greater than or equal to 8. So Gopal should purchase at least 8 basketballs. So this means he wants 8 basketballs or more, so he can have at least 5 basketballs for each team. Okay, and now you are finished with your inequality study guide.